children of the night. We are the denizens of the dark, cloaked in blackest shadow. We are the fallen angels, soaring through ebon skies upon ravens' wings. We are the wolves that prowl the midnight hours to prey upon the heartless. We are the descendants of the dragon's blood, the keepers of the ancient flame. We are the chosen ones, who dare to explore the mysteries of the unseen realms. We are Legion, for we are many, and united, we cannot be vanquished.
I wish to leave a warning that must be spoken and cannot remain silent. The riots of the pandemic, the looting and anarchy, all that occurred. That was the fate of what befell Babylon when it was destroyed. It was a warning, your last warning. If America does not change its ways, as does the world, then God is going to destroy America just as he destroyed Babylon, and that was an example of his meaning for those who disbelieve without seeing. One more time this shall befall those in Florida. They have become arrogant towards his angel and is a source behind my delay in bringing you all this warning. He has not said when or how long they have to change, only that they must, period. Nor has he said how long until he destroys Florida. One man shall be given refuge that can tell the tale of the reason behind this, but he shall not speak until he is free from those lands. This in itself is a warning to the leaders who hold control over your people. Like Moses, I am warning the Pharaoh of these lands, let its people go, or fall to the fate of Babylon as you saw in the pandemic. Now to the angels who were tasked in watching over these lands, sent to protect man. You must realize that, if America falls, if they do not change their ways as the Lord has asked, then we, as angels, have failed them. This is not a joyous moment. This is not a moment for happiness. For we have failed in our purpose if this should occur. There should be no angel whose head is held high in this moment, for we are failing to protect mankind and God's creation, the core of our very purpose. I would have brought you these warnings sooner, but I was delayed by those within Florida and set to rage against his creation to shame his name. I have already fixed what they have tried to use me to break.
A clearer definition of the term sin and condemnation in God's eyes. Something he would like to see man adapt to his ways is the understanding of sin. Sin, in itself, are the mistakes we make when we know that we are wrong but we do it anyways. These are the acts that lead to our condemnation from his presence, being cast into darkness away from his sight. The reasons as to why we sin is desire. It is also the reason we commit acts of virtue, so desire in itself is not evil, but the driving force behind life and its forward momentum. There are many reasons as to why we make mistakes, but the ones that we do when we know it is wrong and that there is another choice we can make, the ones that condemn us to a path in life filled with hardships and suffering, can be narrowed down to these 7 deadly sins. They are the driving generalized causes that emotionally drive us into committing the actions, the wrong decisions, making the wrong choices, that condemn us to a life of suffering, and that he shall hold against those who come and stand before him to be judged when the time comes. Many think they know, some do, some don't, and many don't care, despite that it is listed for those that seek these answers to be greed, jealousy, lust, covetousness, wrath, vanity, and opulence. These 7 sins are interpreted in many different ways, most of which I've read are not correct, especially those of the virtues, for the faithful should never feel the need to truly fear the Lord. Though we falter at times, we must remain diligent in our faith that guides our understanding towards the fact that God's judgment is righteous and true, and one of the reasons he came to earth as the Son was to show us this to be true by becoming one of us and enduring life as one of us, and one day to die as one of us, so that we may see, not by words of promise or hope without knowing, but by action, realizing that mankind, not the individual but regarding all man as a whole, seem to need assurance to prove to ease their suspicious instinctive nature. So he had come at a time when the corruption of religion had caused suffering to every man, beast and fish upon the earth, and needed to know that the true God and Creator was not like the ones that oppressed and manipulated their beliefs to their own agendas, returning to them a short-tempered and often violent reward for their efforts. He knew what they needed was to see there was a true God and not a deceiver with illusions that sought to gain their trust through miracles in the sky. So he came not as a God walking upon the earth, but as a man who would experience and suffer just as they suffered. He would hunger just as they hungered, feel the emotions that they felt and laugh with them, feel sorrow with them, and then one day die just like one of them. All this he would endure just to show them that his heart and wisdom was both true and merciful, proving that he was as he says he is, and that we can trust what he tells us, because what other God that was, is, or was prophesied to ever one day come, was willing to go to that extreme limit to win our trust in him.
One more thing is to China. I have also come to give your people another chance to be saved from your complete destruction and lead you towards a land that will be safe for you from the wrath that has fallen upon your lands. I have looked into all possible paths and found a route that will offer you refuge in their lands if you bring your trade skills to help their lands, not the people, individually, but the country itself, prosper from your living there where they are for you. If you should see the truth evident before you, if you all choose to believe my words to be true, then seek the help of Africa. They will welcome cures for their illnesses in those lands, and you can build a bond between your two people from there. Be humble and open yourself to help them with their sorrows, but try not to overwhelm their country's business in governing itself, and they shall be tolerant and offer what space they have to spare. Lastly, do not forget what has happened because of your actions towards the Lord and what he has made. Remember what has been brought upon you, but also that he is a merciful God and he can be forgiving.